Good afternoon. Haven't told a story for a while and just was in the mood to, because my little friend came to visit me this afternoon. This is Monica. She's a lovely little red monkey. She's got this fun little tuft of hair here that I like to play with. She comes to visit me every once in a while, but she's been telling me a story about she lives in the jungle, but lately she's been a bit lonely because some of her family has grown up and moved away, and she doesn't have a lot of friends to play with anymore. So she wondered if I could help her find some friends, but I'm not really familiar with the jungle. But I said I'll see what I can do. So we started to talk about what her day was like, and she said she sleeps in the trees. She grabs a hold of the branches with her hands and feet and crawls up nice and high. And when she gets to the top or near the top of some of the trees, she can see out and see all the land around her, and she really likes it up there. And I said, well, you really like being up tall. I think I know someone who could be your friend. And she goes, well, who would be able to reach way up here in the tall trees? And I said, well, I think there's a giraffe that might be able to reach up there and be your friend. And so I introduced her to Gerald. Gerald the giraffe and Monica the monkey became good friends because Gerald would be up high in a tree. Giraffes love to eat all the little leaves, and Monica would be there and go, hi Gerald, good morning, how are you? And he'd say, I'm fine. How are you today, Monica? Do you want to run and jump from tree to tree and I'll try to find you? Oh, Monica said, what a great idea. That would be like a real best friend thing to do. So whoop, Monica went from tree to tree to tree. Gerald hopping around after her saying, whew, you're very fast because you can swing from tree to tree, but I have to run through on the ground. So some days they didn't play for a long time, but they played for a short, fun time. And they were starting to think that maybe they needed a friend too, because you sometimes get a little tired of having the same friend all the time. So they didn't know who it would be because some of the jungle animals aren't that nice or friendly. But then they thought that maybe this fella could join them on the ground because the giraffe could lean down and Monica the monkey can go wherever she wants. So in came Henry the hippopotamus. And Henry likes to what? Do you know what a hippopotamus likes to do? They like to wallow in the mud. Well, Monica the monkey wasn't so sure that she'd like to do that, but the hippo said, come on, Monica, just give it a try. Fall in the mud and roll around and see what you think. So Monica jumped up, went in the mud puddle, rolled all around, and went, ew, I'm all covered with sticky mud. I don't know if I like this. But being in the jungle, what happened is all of a sudden it started to rain, and it rained quite hard for a while. And Monica just put her little monkey face up to the sky, and all of a sudden all the mud washed right off Monica. And she's like, my fur feels very smooth and I'm nice and clean. It wasn't so bad at all. So she was thinking she could play with the giraffe up in the trees running, and when she tired the giraffe out, she could come down on the land and her hippo friend could be her land friend, and they could play in the water or play in the mud, and they became the best three friends ever. Thank you very much for listening.